If you could describe your dating life in one word right now, what would it be?
Mm. Uh, hopeful.
Hopeful.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
yeah,
good.
yeah.
Hopeful. Why hopeful?
I think, you know, obviously at my age, I'm 32 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am, I've got, I'll say, a good amount of experience.
Mm-hmm.
And in that experience, obviously, you learn things about yourself, about other people. And where I was in a place not too long ago where I felt like, man, I just wasn't in the headspace where I could date. I think it was a little too much. I'm in a place now where, I'm, like I said, at my age, and you have to couple that because honestly, the age doesn't matter if you haven't met people who make you feel like you can actually get back into something, right?
Ooh,
So
interesting.
I've met some people who, they've made me feel hopeful. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you get out of a relationship and that
Mm-hmm.
relationship is absolute, am I allowed to cuss on here? Oh, okay,
Absolutely.
cool. So
Yes.
absolute dog shit of a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like then you start to be like, oh man, and you get into that negative space of like, oh, all women are this way or whatever.
Yes.
And you got to meet some other people that make to kind of take you out of that and make you
Mm-hmm.
understand it's just like, nah, you just got to find that right one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a place. Like I said, I've recently met some folks that are some good women, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously early on, so I'm not gonna jump the gun or anything like that and act like I'm getting married tomorrow. But I'm
Right.
hopeful. You know what I mean? I know what I want
Hopeful.
out of life, and I know it can happen. So we'll see what's up.
Good. Hopeful, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to the Keepsake Corner. And we always start off with a guest toast. Let's do a shot
All
right
right,
now
let's
for
do it.
this one.
Let's do it.
Guest toast. And when I say guest toast, might be new to the Keepsake Corner, but definitely not new to the Keepsake. Y'all, if y'all in the area and y'all come to the mixes, y'all know I got my boy Evan in the building, which I had to retire him. Y'all know I will retire somebody because once you are a favorite, a Keepsake favorite, y'all want them to come back and back and back. And then I just had to be like, hold on, give somebody else a chance. But y'all love Evan. Yeah, Evan, talk to the people about your keepsake experiences.
Oh man, well, my experience, I first came actually as a guest in the audience. I actually came to support my cousin,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Who was on the last episode, y'all? Y'all remember Aaron from the last episode?
That's my guy. That's my god brother.
Mhm.
And I came to check him out, see what he had to say. I know he has a lot of good insight when it comes to this, a lot of experience. So I wanted to show some love, and when I was in the audience, a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
discussions that y'all had, I was like itching to get in on it,
Right,
right? So I
right.
had to like let my opinions be heard and everything. And I think I kind of won Kenya over, like, you know what, I need to have this man on next time. So yeah,
Uh,
sure enough, she
mm-hmm.
brought me in, and I continue to share some more good insight. And from what she told me, I was a little bit of a fan favorite, so I don't know who,
Yes.
but actually I might have heard one, but I ain't gonna say no names.
We ain't gonna say no
But
name right now. If you know, you know. If you know, you know, you know. If you're watching, you know, right? You know.
right. But yeah, no, it's good. It's very insightful. I think people come there to learn, to get a different perspective about dating and relationships, kind of maybe learn what they might have been doing wrong in their past situations, at least if they're keeping an open mind. But that seems to be what happens at these keepsake discussions. So it's been a pleasure to be a part of, Kenya, for sure.
Yes, and thank you so much again. And not just you didn't win me over, you won the crowd over, everybody. I mean, it again insightful when you have different perspectives. It's called battle of perspectives, y'all, because it's different perspectives. And so speaking of, let me tell y'all, look, I've been talking about itching. I've been itching. It was one light bulb moment, like months after my event, and I was like, I'm about to bring this up to Evan, right? So I've been holding it down. I've been holding it down because it was this is when he was in the audience, right? So do you remember? Like, this not even in my notes. It talked about itching. Do you remember? Oh my God! So it was the discussion about sacrificing and money and working hard because we were talking about my nails.
Right.
Y'all know y'all be on your girl about my nails, right? And so, okay, boom. You made a comment because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna like stop getting my nails. Okay, it wasn't like that. Like, I'm not gonna stop getting my nails done, but it went along the lines of like, I'm not gonna stop getting my nails done to say because I paid $160 for my nails and toes. Y'all get off me. So the discussion was like, oh, if we had a goal, you'll say you would stop getting your nails done to put away the $160.
Right.
So for me, I was like, no, like I would rather continue, like do something extra,
Right.
like work harder or whatever.
Right.
So you said something to the point like, oh, if you work harder, like, are you still gonna come home and like do what you gotta do?
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? But you were like your point was, I guess, like you rather work harder, like then, but that could possibly affect the relationship, right? Right. So I was thinking about it months later. Like I was thinking about it months later. Right. So I was thinking because after like talking to my guys and everything, I feel like that's equivalent to what guys do, is just not with nails. And I'm talking about the point of working harder. So I've seen in my experience that when you guys are, what is it, grind mode or whatever, you guys will take on projects. You guys will do this, like put in that extra work.
Right.
Why is that not the like, or the same, or is it the different? You know what I'm trying to say? Than me taking that extra step.
Like, I'll tell you why. So the reason why is because as men, that's in our nature. Right? Okay. We gonna do that regardless. So if you are working harder, first of all, as a man, if we're the man we should be, as a man, we're gonna feel a way about that. Like it's gonna be a situation in which we feel kind of insecure, low key. We might not, we might not always be so quick to use that word.
Right, right, yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, as a man, if my woman has to bust her ass to help provide in this relationship, then we feel like we're not doing enough, right? Oh. So we don't want that to have to be the case. We much would rather you be able to do what you've been doing, whether that's, working some job or not working at all or whatever, and we take the load, we carry that, and continue to provide and make sure that you have everything you need. But as soon as our wife, now in that same breath, we love the idea of a woman who's willing.
Okay,
right?
okay.
A woman who's willing. So if she's willing to, step up where she got to, if times is hard or whatever, obviously, life is a bumpy road and it's got a lot of ups and downs. So, we understand that, and it's always best to have a woman who's willing to step in and help provide when it's needed. But we just don't want her to have to do that. Right. So as soon as she has to do that, then we feel like we're failing a little bit. So, that's just something to think about. But also when it comes to the sacrifice aspect, unless you covering up some like moldy toenails or not, fungus toenails or whatever, like that's necessary. Go get them things painted. But outside of that, if it's like your natural, now first of all, I think it's a stretch to ask a woman not to get her toes and her fingernails done. Now to spend $160 though, can you?
Inflation. Can I use that like everybody else want to use? Inflation.
That is crazy word. Look.
When I was 9, it was $12. Okay.
So something I remember about that conversation was, look, I might not ask you to not get them done. I'm not gonna ask you that, but I might ask you to spend less on them, right?
Yes, I remember.
And that's called compromise. That's meeting in the middle. So that's what we gotta do sometimes when the times get rough.
I can't go.
You know what I'm saying?
I can't go to Ming no more. I gotta find, I gotta find lean because Ming costs too much. That's what I gotta do. Oh man. Okay, so that was good. I received that. Right. That was good clarification. because I am thinking like I guess the mindset is helping. Like I'm helping. Like I'm helping and not taking away from myself. I'm stepping up, right? But I didn't think about it in the way of you're saying like it looks like I need to step up and like good stuff. Y'all
Yeah, something to keep in mind.
Now, hold on, because I like to identify and redefine and things like that because a lot of people cross over that whole independent woman thing and so on and so forth. So, where it first, let's define that because where would the cross be? Because in my mind, like some people might see that as being too independent, right? But when we throw that word out there,
well, I mean, you say they might see what as being too independent.
When I want to step up, when I'm like, no,
Yeah.
like
Now, personally, I think it's the complete opposite. If a woman is wanting to step up to help provide for her family, I think that's the complete opposite of independence. I think that's literal codependency right there. Now, as a man, like I said, we don't want you to have to do that, but we appreciate the willingness because it is a commitment to the team. It's a commitment to the unit, right? So that part when we talk about independence, that's a whole other conversation. The independence is pretty much someone's desire to be without their partner or not. I won't say their desire to be without, but their mindset that they don't need to have that partnership. And that's where, as men, we hate that word coming out of women. And I actually saw a video. This dude explained it so perfectly. I don't think I've ever heard this explained better. And I've tried to explain it, but this dude explained it so well. And he was basically saying there's a difference between independence in a woman and self sufficiency, right? So we all want somebody who's self sufficient. A self sufficient woman is just an adult, right? But somebody who is self sufficient is just an adult. But somebody who's running around throwing their independence in your face is somebody who ultimately is saying, at the drop of a hat, I might leave. You know what I mean? That's somebody who they value or they idolize their independence a little too much. It's not attractive. All right. Because I'm not in a relationship with you. Right. I'm not in a relationship with you for you to be telling me I don't need you. And at the end of the day, a lot of people will argue, well, wouldn't you rather be wanted than to be needed? But there's too much black and white in that question. How come I can't want both?
Okay, well, excuse me, because this is good. This is good. This is great because Aaron was right before you, and he talked about how men want to feel needed.
Exactly.
Right? Y'all see?
We have to feel needed.
And this is just coming, and it's not just a family thing. This is coming from the fellas. All right? Yeah, well, speak on that one.
No, we have to feel needed. At the end of the day, we are. I mean, this is in all areas of life. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not just make it about relationships. How do you feel at work if they bring somebody else in who's doing what you do and maybe even better? You feel like you're not needed and you start to worry, right?
Yes.
Why would it be any different in a relationship? If your partner is letting you know that what you're doing is not of significant value to them, you start to feel less needed and you start to worry that that relationship might end, right? Now, if that person cares about you and doesn't want that relationship to end, then it's a bad look.
Yeah.
So, as men, I mean, especially with what society from centuries ago, what we have been placed on this earth to do is to be providers, right? Take care of our families. So if we're made to feel like we can't, look, we understand it's 2024. You're able to make money for yourself if need be. Gotcha. But that's not to throw in your partner's face that I don't need you. I always say, like I said, I don't want if my woman is making money so she don't need a man, I would rather her sit the fuck down. I don't need her. I don't need her doing that because I'm making money so I can provide for all of us.
Write that down. Y'all say making money so she don't need a man. That's a whole different thing, y'all. Right. That's a whole different thing. Are we in our careers to thrive, or are we making money so that we don't need a man?
It. Like I got no problem with my woman working, but if she's gonna work, that money is going to the betterment of our household. It's not for the rainy day of us splitting up and so she's good. I understand the need because relationships end sometimes, but why do they end? You know what I mean? Is it because we're too busy planning our exit plans instead of like actually planning on how to improve in our relationships? You know what I mean? That's something to think about. But at the end of the day, I'm not planning my exit plan with my finances. You know what I mean? I do think it's smart. I think it's smart to have a collective, account and separate accounts for certain things, but there should be full transparency. But at the end of the day, my intent is never to walk away from my relationship as long as my wife or my partner is not being completely terrible. You know what I mean?
It was so much in there, and in my mind, I'm like, oh, I had questions, then I had another question, and I had another question. Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. So I think I'll just say on the last thing that you said, because all right, oh, here we go. Because you said exit plans. Oh, you threw out so much. My question would be, all right, let's go this angle first. So, because you hear women, many women say, oh, Granny said have a what mad money. My mama used to call it mad money.
See?
My best friend Granny used to call. Emotions. You know what? I think it was all around called mad money, right? It was called mad money that we had to have, right? Okay, boom. So Mama taught me that. Granny taught me a few things. Granny taught my best friend. These are this how do you, because when I was talking to Aaron before and other, I don't know where my daughter father and I came up with 50-50. Like it was just a thing. Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't because I don't know what my parents did and I don't know where that came from, right? So I'm thinking now, how do you when you meet, if you meet a girl with the mindset of the bad money, first of all, like what I'm trying to do is bring it back because like how does those conversations come out? We have Money Mondays every first month where we talk about how relationships and finances intertwine, and we talk about financial transparency in relationships and things. So it's one of the things like, hey, my first thought is, how would you even know? Like in a relationship that I had mad money, right?
Right.
Would we call that financial infidelity? I mean, we're dating, like it didn't come up, of course, right?
That's a good term. That's a good term for it. If it's something that's hidden, like I said, full transparency is the goal. So if it's something that's hidden, then it's almost, I guess we can equate it to like emotional cheating, right? Financial infidelity, same thing. It's one of those things that I didn't lie, I just didn't tell you the truth. Right. So I mean, it's something where, like I said, the 50-50 thing is it's very touchy. It's very murky waters because ideally, I mean, look, we live in Southern California. It's expensive as hell. I get it. And in order, if we want to live, the best life we can live, a lot of times, we got to kind of come together with the finances. But what I have found, again, like I said, the idea of the independent woman, the overly independent woman, the woman that goes 50-50 with the man feels like she owes that man nothing. That's typically what happens, and she views that man as lesser because he's unable to provide for anybody but himself, which is just making him an adult, not a provider. There's a difference there. So I can respect somebody as being able to provide for themselves, all good, but in terms of like having a family and all of that stuff, that's a different ballgame right there. So if we want to be viewed as men who are to be respected as leaders and whatnot, then we're going to have to be able to take more than 50% of the responsibility. However, that doesn't mean that like I said, that doesn't mean that whatever she makes is sticking with her. That just means that I'm taking care of certain things, whether that means that her finances, if she's choosing to work, then her finances are going toward a savings account or towards our kids' college funds or whatever, then that's different. But at the end of the day, as a provider, I gotta
Mm-hmm.
provide. So all
Mm-hmm.
I need is full transparency. That's the thing. I don't need no secret accounts and whatnot. Let me know what's going on.
Mm. This is so, again, so many questions are just fluttering and fluttering because, okay, all right. First, do you think the 50-50 thing is cultural? The black, everybody like to blame everything on the black community, right? I swear everybody do. Like, oh my God, the black people, like, oh, like, I bet you the white people in Asia doing the 50-50. Now it's like, do you think that, what do you think is the mentality? It's something that's taught. Because again, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I don't even know if my parents did, but when we went out, and as you were speaking, I know I get on topic and off topic, but that's because I'm thinking but I was thinking when you were saying that, I'm wondering if it was our age too, because you keep, like, you're right here where we are now in our 30s and 40s. It's about providing. We're thinking about those terms. We're thinking about those things. You know what I mean? And I was 19. Right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I was looking at him like, if we're gonna move out, you're gonna pay 100% of the, So right. I don't. What are your thoughts?
I think there are multiple ways to look at it. For one, sometimes it's just about making it work. The best way, just like you said, you were 19, right? So you're not looking. I don't know how old the father of your child was at the time.
We were the same age.
Same age. So I don't know how many 19-year-olds is going to be able to provide for himself, his woman, and a child at that age. That's not realistic. So yeah, sometimes both people have to come together and make it work. I look at it, I expect that to be the case until there's an until in there. So it's like, look, the man is supposed to be striving to be able to tell his woman, okay, it's okay for you to sit down now. I got this. But until that point, you have the woman who's willing to step up and do that. But the other aspect, when you said our age, I'm thinking a different thing. It's more so just a generational thing, right?
Okay.
And not just, it's not the generation itself, but it's what the generation is allowed. It's what the generation is afforded by the government, which is women have more rights now, right? Yeah. Women have the freedom to work. Women are making just as much, if not more, than men in a lot of areas, right? So I know, people want to swear men are you controlling all the money and all this stuff. No, we're y'all talking about the top 1%. We're not talking about everyday niggas.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So plenty of women make more. My boss is a woman. I guarantee you she makes more. I got coworkers that are women. They make more. Like it ain't, that's not the case. It's not that much of a disparity like that no more. But yeah, so it's a different time now where women actually have the option to go get this money, get that education, all that stuff. And so I think that you have a lot of men who are like, well, I mean, if you have that ability just like I do, why the fuck am I doing all this shit by myself? Like, maybe you should help out too. You have every capability of doing it. Now, some men think that way, but unfortunately, we will never stop being viewed as the providers and the leaders in a home. And because of that, that's where it's tricky. I've learned that. Like, I used to think it would be cool to be 50-50 or whatever. Like, that's fair. Hell no. My experience has shown me that does not work. That does not work. You lose the respect of your woman when you ask for 50-50. It just is what it is.
You lose the respect of your woman when you ask for 50.
If you're looking to lead in a relationship, then nah, that's not gonna work. You we're in, like I said, we're in a different time. Liberalism is a real thing. It's a very popular thing these days, and you have the women who, well, why can't I lead and blah blah blah. And there will be times I will probably more so just allow the time to occur, an instance to occur, and then I'll be like, that's why you can't lead. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and to rather than to just allow the instance, I'll tell y'all, this is, don't chop my head off for this, but the fact of the matter is, unless we're just lying to ourselves, we know that men are created to be more logical, women are created to be more emotional. When we make decisions based out of our emotions, they don't always go well. When we make decisions based out of logic, we have the best chance of making the right decision. So that's how come, if we want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, that's why men are supposed to be the leaders. That's what we're known to do. We're gonna always try to do what we believe is best based on data, based on what we've seen work in the past or whatever, not just well I think or I feel. It's just different. It works out different, but that's why we're supposed to be leaders, and it doesn't mean that we don't need a woman by our side to provide some type of wisdom,
Right,
because it
right.
happens a lot of times. Like, just because we're expected to make decisions and to lead and all that, that's not me saying that we know everything by any stretch of the imagination. That's me saying that the ship sails more smoothly when one person or your partner is saying, okay, look, this is what I think. I'm going to trust in you to make this decision. And whatever the outcome is, we live with that. But, there could be consequences. I mean, obviously, you know, we could make decisions that completely destroy everything, right?
Everything. Right.
but
Right.
but at the end of the day, we're gonna take the blame. And the thing about it
Isn't
is,
that a risk?
it's a risk. However,
no, I mean, isn't that equivalent to that's what a risk is?
oh,
Right?
of course, that's a risk.
That's a risk.
But what I do know is, I don't think I've ever seen a situation in which a decision, maybe a poor decision, is made in a household, and the man is not blamed for it, right? So I say that to say, even if the man deferred to his partner and allowed her to make key decisions that he might be better suited to make, like I said, that he might be better suited to make. If it's a decision that she should make, I think that a man should let go of his ego and let her make that decision, right?
Okay.
But if it's a decision that he's better suited to make, and he were to let her make the decision based on how she felt, and it went to shit, he's still going to get blamed for that, right? You're not going to see a woman get blamed for a man's decisions ever. So
that's deep, yeah.
so that's just what it is. So that's the responsibility we understand, and it's the responsibility we're fine with, and we take that and we run with it, and it is what it is. But it's much easier when you have somebody by your side who's willing to support, and who trusts you. Now, trust is the biggest thing in all of that. So you can't. I always tell women all the time, like, if you can't trust me to lead, you shouldn't even be with me. Like, don't be with me. Like,
so does providing, and I know this was a question that we had before, does providing equal money?
um, not always. There are ways of providing, but unfortunately, and we didn't create this. We did not.
Yeah.
You got plenty of women out here who will badmouth you to the moon and back about the money you make before anything, right?
Oh,
And
before anything.
and we see time and time again that a man who can provide financially has a much longer leash in all that he does. He can be an asshole, he can be unfaithful, right? And these women they will typically stick around. So money talks, and we all know that. We all know that.
That's crazy, y'all.
But
type in the chat. Type in the chat. But that's crazy. A longer leash. I like the way that was put, because the only way I've seen it put is when it comes to cheating. Like, a man with money can cheat. Like, a man with money can cheat. He can do whatever you want to do. Like it's that. But a long, yes. Oh my gosh, that's deep, y'all.
It happens. But with that said, no, of course, there are plenty other ways you can provide, right? But let's be honest here. Some of the ways that we can provide, women don't really appreciate it.
Like what? Because like what? No, because I was thinking, because before you said that, hold on to that, because in my mind I don't want to lose this one. Can it be a situation where the man provides and the woman leads, or does the man provide and lead?
I mean, it depends.
Okay.
It depends. I mean, in parenting, I think that mothers lead. Okay. I really do. Okay. I think that mothers lead. Now, fathers will say, I'm not having my child do X, Y, and Z or
Mhm.
whatever. But at the end of the day, I know for a fact. I think
Mhm.
if I had to pick who's more important in a child's life, I would say that the mother is
Mhm.
more important. But then again, there are
Mhm.
statistics that
Oh,
say so. It depends on what we're talking about.
yes,
There are
absolutely.
statistics against that kind of would argue against that, but
Mhm.
it depends on what we're talking about. Excuse me. When it comes to like the nurturing of a child
Mhm.
in that way, yeah, I think a mother is much more
Mhm.
important.
Mhm.
Obviously, when it comes to the discipline of a child and raising that kid to be respectful and whatnot, fathers, I believe, are more important.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I don't believe I know are more important in that way.
Mhm.
Um,
Real quick,
mm,
do you have anger issues?
no, no, not at
My
all.
statistics are happening, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you why. You grew up well with a father, but a father and a father figure.
Well, my father passed when I was just turning 6,
Right, okay.
so very young, and
Mhm.
then I had a stepfather figure till I was
Mhm.
about 10,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then that was it. So
Mhm.
after that, no, and I acknowledged that one time
Mhm. Yes, right.
talking with you about, you know, the importance of a father figure in the
Mhm.
home
Mhm.
and that presence, and that's why I'm very I don't want to use I'm annoyed by the way that a lot of women move in selecting the fathers of their children.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or the willingness to leave their relationships
Mhm.
if the fathers of their children still want to be there or
Mhm.
involved. I
Mhm.
Infidelity, I get it. It's one thing.
Mhm.
I think we all are expected to make a choice
Mhm.
of being faithful or whatever. I do think that sometimes that even that conversation could be revisited depending on how things play out.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just because of how common infidelity is,
Mhm.
it makes you question how realistic it is to expect somebody to be faithful at all times. And this is not me saying that I'm the type to be cheating.
Yeah,
I don't.
no.
But I'm just
Right,
saying,
right.
I'm saying in terms of like breaking up families and things like
Yes,
that,
yes.
there's discussions could be had, I think, and
Mhm.
rather than it's just automatic, cut somebody
Mhm.
off.
Mhm.
When there are kids to think about and
Mhm.
whatnot. If there are not kids to think about, that's different. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But when there are children to think about, I think, more conversations could and should be had in that regard. But
Wait, no, because we keep getting off subject. The reason why I asked because I'm doing a study and statistic, and I'm coming to find that fatherless men have anger issues.
yeah, I ain't gonna say no names, but
Mhm.
I know that to be true about some.
Mhm.
But
And they will fight me on it. But that's
oh
why
yeah.
I asked you. I mean, because you weren't necessarily fatherless. But although, see, it was different because your father passed,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And I'm talking these fatherless men are the ones that are resenting, yeah,
Abandoned.
that have the abandonment
Yeah,
issues
yeah.
and things like
And
that.
I mean, I feel like I experienced both, to be honest. I experienced, obviously the death of my father. I
Mm-hmm.
don't blame him for that.
Mm-hmm. Right, right, right.
But I grew up. I was resentful of my mom's ex husband
Mm-hmm.
after my dad for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I felt like he was supposed to be there. He was supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
that person to help raise me and be that father figure for me. And I ended up growing up without, and this person didn't necessarily, and it wasn't like it was a situation where like they just didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
It was more so like he just wasn't doing right, he was
Mhm,
unfaithful and things like
mhm,
that.
mhm,
And so naturally, I love my mother too,
mhm,
and so at that
mhm.
time I'm like, man, like this motherfucker hurt my mom and
Yes.
leaving us and blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
so I was pretty resentful then too.
Mm.
um Resentful to toward him, and
Mm.
on a deeper level, I was resentful toward God,
Mm.
for me being this
Mm.
young kid who had essentially lost two dads by the age of 10. So there's what I learned,
Mhm.
and why I think I don't have anger issues.
Mhm.
I never did have anger issues,
Mhm.
but I think it was because I channeled my pain in something else, which was my love for basketball. I played ball my whole life, and I think probably if anything, I probably started going harder then because it was that was my safe space. You know what I mean? That was where I wanted to be all the time. And when I was off the court, that was when I might find myself, upset or crying or whatever because of shit like what I was dealing with. But if I'm on the court, I'm happy. So um so yeah, I mean the resentment thing is it was different. I had it, but it was just I think I channeled it towards something healthy. And I think that's the main thing for young men is, when they have those abandonment issues or whatever, are they utilizing something healthy to kind of get out of that and not let it affect them too much negatively.
That's deep.
Yeah.
That's really good channeling. Like I was telling Aaron, and I say it all the time. Like I think a guy that is not into sports is not normal.
Nah, for real. For real. I mean, there's.
I don't understand it. Like
Yeah.
for a guy to not be into sports, I'm like, what happened?
Yeah,
Like, what
yeah,
happened to your childhood?
yeah.
Like, what is others that? Like, what do you do there? Like, I just be like, what do you do? Like, what else is there?
Yeah,
Like, I don't understand what else is
yeah.
there. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta have something.
It's pretty deep. See, that's what I forgot. What was the we was talking about before that? Before I asked you about the anger issues, because I was wondering about that. Dang, I don't know. Do you remember? Probably
I
not.
don't. As you see, I'll be going on tangents.
I don't know, but it's all good stuff. And then the questions be going. We talked. Don't even matter. We hit on the independent woman. We were talking about father. Liz, it was something right before that, but don't even matter. Let's go to yes, your strife about the choosing who you have a child.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I mean, I think um far too often. I mean, for example, I'll be man, it's sad. I see it all the time, like on Instagram. It'd be somebody somebody you grew up with or whatever, and they pop out with the pregnancy photos, and you have no clue who the baby daddy is. And so
you never do.
Yeah, you never do, because they went and fucked around and got pregnant by somebody they wasn't supposed to get pregnant by. And I've seen it before. I mentioned it when I was doing my podcast a while back. There was somebody I knew, and I remember she was poor, bless her heart. Hope she's well. But I remember she would be posting a lot, like her and her man and everything, and it was for some number of months,
Right?
Not too long, but her and her man. And as soon as she was pregnant, it was just her and that belly. It wasn't her and no man ever again after that,
Ever.
and never again since. So ladies, choose wisely. I know, sometimes you might get manipulated and whatnot, but you can't be so quick to, I think there's a certain type. There are people who, um, for example, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm gonna keep it a look. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I try to look. Look, I try to be nice. I'm a very kind person, and I don't mean no disrespect. But I've come across women who I just feel are stupid, like really stupid,
Idiots. I heard that
stupid, like
before.
yeah, like just dumb.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it be those same dumb women who think they shit don't stink, right? But like I was.
Everybody
I'm
think
gonna
they
give you an
bad.
example. I'm gonna give you an example of this.
Everybody think they bad.
Everybody, I'm gonna give you two examples.
Two of them.
First of all, my ex, my most recent ex. We had an issue. She was very upset because I chose to coach my niece's basketball team for 2 months. And that to her was not appealing. That was actually unappealing because that meant that we couldn't leave town on the weekends and travel together for that 2 month stretch. Now, that is just the ultimate level of selfishness. Mind you, this chick and I have been together for 2 months. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
So if the expectations were just insane. So that's the first form of stupidity, right? But so that comes in the form of high expectations and no real leg to stand on with those expectations, right? Secondly,
no real leg to stand on. Come on, you go with your second while I write down a note.
The second one is the most recent person I was dating, um, who, while I was with her once, there was a dog that we were, or she was babysitting some dogs, and I was over there and I was playing with the dogs, having a good, the dogs liked me a lot, and I'm a dog owner myself, and I'm playing with the dogs. I would imagine that to the right type of woman, that would be endearing.
Yeah.
Instead, this woman couldn't decide if me playing with these dogs gave her the ick.
The what?
Right. So the ick. So, and the thing is that unfortunately it's a natural response for many women that when they see a man being not overly masculine, right? But the funny thing about this particular woman is that she's overly liberal and doesn't like overly masculine men.
Oh my
So
God.
this is what I mean. A lot of women don't even know what the fuck they want.
They don't know what they want.
They have no clue. You want me to be softer? Okay, I'm playing with some dogs. I'm enjoying it, and now I'm giving you the ick. So which one is it? Right? Right.
That ick.
So yeah, it's unfortunately, I'm sorry, ladies, a lot of y'all are dumb. Okay. You need to choose better or get out of your way or figure out a way to get out of your way. I don't know if that's possible. Because it could just be the wiring. It could, I don't know.
That's good because I say it all the time, and I was saying it to like a different one of my fellows. I think again, Aaron. I was telling them like, what's this thing? Don't believe, only believe half of what you hear and not what you see, or half what you whatever it is. I just said don't believe nothing you hear. And I'm saying at the end of the day, no, especially so we tying this all back to dating though. Because people are gonna say whatever, just gonna fly out their mouth that feels good in that moment. It's not, it might not even be repetitive, it might not even be the truth, it might not even be what they feel. It might be Friday night and this is the answer that I want to give tonight, right? And don't even follow it. Or like we're saying, people don't even know themselves. I say this all the time. It's very few that are very self-aware. And not only that, even the most self-aware don't always apply.
Right.
They be bending them. Yeah, non-negotiables and negotiables. I talk about it all the time. And so you're right. Like you don't even know what you want. You say this, you say that, and that's why I just stop because it's a mood thing. Like I look, fine dining, I like it, but I don't go. If that makes sense, right? So I say that to say it would be very unfair for me to meet a guy we're dating and I'm like, oh my God, I would love to go to Eddie V's once a week, or not just Eddie V's. I like Eddie V's. But like any restaurant, I could just name them out, right? Because I do like them. But let Thursday come, I don't feel like getting dressed.
Right.
I'm tired. It's cold outside. Like it's dark early. Like, and I don't want to go no more. Now I look like a fraud. Right. Now I look like I'm crazy. I don't know what I want because I done made this man believe that an expectations, and I hate expectations, y'all throw that out, is to go fine dining when I really just want some pizza.
Right.
Like, so it's right. We don't know what we want, or if we do, we think we want it. And we don't want it when it comes up. So let's just stop saying what we think we want because it's not what we want. And hold on, because I just had a light bulb moment. I just realized in my last episode that this looks like my light bulb. Light bulb moment here. And not only that, you don't even know what that other person can offer you.
Right.
You might not even know what you want until you get it.
Yep.
So you throwing out when you dating all these expectations, what you want. Now I'm not saying not let nobody know what your interests
Right.
are. That's
Right.
different. Your
Yeah.
interests.
For sure.
Because those interests can lead to other things, right? But you don't know if that is, oh, you might like this and you don't even know if that person is capable or have the etiquette to take you to these fine dining restaurants.
Right.
Like you just don't know. So I say all that to say, just be quiet. Just enjoy the moment while you're dating.
Right.
Right? And I remember what I was gonna say. It always come back. It always come back. We was talking about the mad money.
Oh yes.
So tying it back, going back to dating, because these are again initial. A lot of people feel initial thoughts, initial discussions that should be had. So how do you feel you can change the mindset of a woman that has the mad money mindset? And I'm not talking about the ones who's hard. I'm talking. So for me, an example, right? All right, like I had my mom told me about the mad money. Mm-hmm. And so for men, how could you like? And I'm not independently mad money. And this is just what I have. Like I just got a stash from whatever it has. So you come in, right? You know, how does that discussion happen where you're telling me not necessarily like I always try to figure out my words because y'all be coming for me. But I don't care because this me and Evan and this is what we do. But how do you necessarily come to me and be like, check this out, that mad money and you don't need it. Like it ain't gotta be there. And I'm just like, what you mean? Like it's for this, not like, look, here's the purpose. How does that happen? And you know what? I keep saying dating. Hold on, because I don't. First, I don't know if that should happen in dating.
No.
Because you also gave
That's
me
a
a
marriage.
thought. See, that's what I was about to bring up. Because you thought about some of these discussions should not happen. Should we be providing if we don't have children?
Right. Now,
when does that?
The discussions should happen early on.
Okay.
I mean, it's just the action on the discussions don't need to take place until certain points. All right.
Y'all be moving in with the discussions and the actions. Y'all be having a discussion talking about actions tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. No. So you know, and don't get it twisted. There are certain actions that do need to take place before a marriage. One thing I cannot stand is when women be like, "Oh, he want wife responsibilities, and I ain't a wife."
Hold on, this how you know this is his cousin because that was Aaron's topic.
I believe
in the episode before about the whole wifey duties.
I believe it, but let me give y'all a little example of how crazy that sounds. To be honest, is you know, like I said, I grew up my whole life playing basketball. Right? I didn't tell when it was time for tryouts. I didn't tell my coaches just put me on the team and then you'll see what kind of player I am. No, I had to hoop. I had to show and prove. I had to bust my ass, and I had to earn the spot on the team. Once I earned, how did I earn that spot on the team? I earned the spot on the team because the coach already knew, based on what he saw before I was on the team, what I can do and what I'll provide him. He knew what he was getting with me. So the same applies in relationships and marriage. If I'm going to make you a wife, I need to first see that you are a wife, right? And the fact of the matter is, what I've learned is that a wife is a wife from day one. She knows who she is, and she acts a certain way. She carries herself a certain way, and it's not a surprise when you end up being like, oh yeah, like I want to marry this woman. A wife is a wife. You can see it. There are certain things. There are certain boundaries that they place up. There's just a certain way they carry themselves. There are certain things that they want. You know what I mean? There's like I said, I recently met somebody who I haven't known them long yet, but based on conversation, I know what type of person she is. I know what she wants. I know certain things that I would expect. I know I wouldn't expect to see this woman all out in the wanting to be go out and turn up all the time. Nah, she want to be home. She want to get married. She want to raise kids. She want to do all that stuff. That's something that provides a level of mental stability within a man to know what kind of woman he has. But like I said, you have to show that before he's going to make you a wife. You're not just going to be out here doing whatever you want and expect him to put a ring on it and you going to change. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, like I said, there are things that do change after certain points. Just like there are things that change from when you're single to when you're in a relationship.
Levels to
But
this.
if you're a smart man, you're choosing someone that doesn't have to change much. You know what I'm saying?
You're choosing someone that doesn't have to change much. And where we at with time? Because that is a whole topic. And that is a whole, oh my God. We're going to say that one for another one. Hold on. Choosing someone that doesn't have to change much. And I'm going to tell y'all why we're going to hold that one. But all right, still. Okay, boom. Because, oh, you know me and Evan, this is what we do. We could do this. So go back because I don't want to lose this one because I am interested.
Right.
How does that discussion happen?
The discussion of
Like you telling me the mad money is not happening.
That's right.
We're not gonna have that.
So
like
the way that happens, my bad. I know I completely.
No, this is
passed
good.
that.
That's why I got my notes.
The way that happens, honestly, I'm an action speak louder than words guy. So I first have to tell you what my expectations are, of course, but then I have to show you that you can trust in that. Now, obviously, it takes two to tango. So as I'm showing you things that should probably show you that okay, this is a safe situation for me to not feel like I need to have this mad money or whatever, then it is your responsibility to acknowledge them in such a way that's like, all right, basically let that wall down. You know what I mean? Because there are some people who are just stubborn and who refuse to give their trust no matter what somebody does, and nobody can ever do enough.
Right.
I've been there before too.
Right.
And yeah, it'll never work that way. But if I'm gonna expect you to come up off of that mad money and have more of a family mindset with your finances, then I've got to show you that my plan is for us to be together always and to build and grow, and what's mine is yours, what's yours is mine. That's my mindset. So that's how come like I said, I feel like no matter what, what's mine is yours. So I think it's also easier, when we're talking about like the 50-50 thing, if my woman's gonna be working and providing and all that stuff, I think it's easier for her just to be one provider financially, to be honest.
Oh.
Obviously, like I said, Southern California, and sometimes you need the help.
Yeah.
But like if you can, I think just in terms of managing like the finances through the family or whatever, from it to all come from the same person or whatever, I think it's just easier. You know what I mean? But
that makes sense. I mean, because again, I was 18, 19, and I mean, we did this for 7 years, I think, because I broke up with him at 25. But now that I'm thinking about it, it was like having to wait for the paycheck, having to wait for the paycheck. You send it to my account.
There's a whole bunch of back and forth. I'm telling you, it's just easier.
Oh
It's
my
like, all right,
God!
money's coming in,
Back
good,
in
blah, blah.
the days, right? Having to, what is it today? 33.12 on the so we gonna give me 15 cents.
Right, exactly. I'm like, look, I'd rather just make the money, even if my wife wanted to decide what to do with it. If I were to say, look, if I could trust my wife to, basically, they say a man pays for a home or pays for a house, and a wife makes a home, right?
Right.
So if my wife is making the home, then hey, I'm gonna just put the money in the account and you take care of it. But I'm gonna see what's going on. Obviously, it's my bank accounts, but my wife would have full access. You know what I mean? That's fine, but just make sure I know what's going on. That's it. So I just think that's the simpler way. But in terms of egos and lack of trust and all that, and wanting to have money on the side to do X, Y, Z, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not for it. I just feel like it's not enough focus on the relationship and too much focus on the what if the relationship fails. You know what I mean? Like not enough focus on it, prevailing. So I don't know.
So repurposing it? Is that what we doing?
Repurposing what?
The mad money.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
is that
for sure?
okay?
We get to be like, this mad money. Okay, we gonna have some kids. All right, college fund.
Okay, so we repurposing the mad money,
just
ladies.
repurposing it.
We
Yeah.
repurposing it. Okay, that's fair. Like I feel that. That's
Or you
cool.
got some debt, pay off the
Pay
debt.
off the debt with the mad money.
Right. Do something productive with it. That's it.
And it don't be mad. The mad money by itself just sounds like
it sounds like an emotional decision. It's literally
an emotional decision.
Right. I'm not giving my woman no way to easily act on her emotions. Nah, bad money, just the name alone is nope. We can't do that. Might as well just call it emotional money.
Emotional fun.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, where are we? Look, we are at the end of it, but y'all know we never go nowhere without the keepsake quick fire.
Okay.
I don't know if I call it a quick fire keepsake or a keepsake. I like keepsake quick fire better. And y'all know what it was. I just looked for random questions that I just came up with and I just fire them off and you just ask. Oh, I mean, no, you just answer. I ask, you answer. Let me see. This or that. Telling the truth about feelings or protecting someone's emotions.
I'm gonna go with protecting someone's emotions. Obviously, that's a very black and white question. Obviously, it depends on the situation. Sometimes they'll just say this: I'm gonna protect your emotions if those feelings of mine aren't going to have long-term effects, negative long-term effects. If they are going to have negative long-term effects, I got to tell you. So that's what it is.
So if it's detrimental.
Exactly.
That's good. Let me see. Know the truth that hurts or live in blissful ignorance.
Know the truth that hurts. Easy.
Know the truth that hurts. Why?
Because at least you don't look stupid. I hate to be out here looking stupid. I can't. Nah, I'll tell people all the time, like, truth hurts, and I'm known to be the deliverer of hurtful truths. Yeah, I'm known to be that person, and I'll tell them all the time, or if they say, it sounds mean or it sounds however or whatever, I will ask them, did I lie? Did I tell you the truth? I was like, look, we all know the truth hurts. So, but did I tell you the truth? I'm just being honest, and I don't say it to be an asshole. I just say it to be honest. So I would much rather get the painful truth. I'll get over that shit.
Right.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. Off the quick fire for a second because this is a recurring thing that comes up. It's tone, 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 tone. Yeah. So now I'm wondering, what is it? All right, now hold on. I get it. We're not talking about aggressive. But where I see it comes from, because I teach the 5 communication styles. And of course, it's assertive, right?
Exactly.
People, that is the most effective communication style, but the most one that people have an issue with.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is the aggression? Y'all match that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, y'all match that energy, right? Manipulative all day. Y'all like that one. Y'all like that. But assertive?
I think I know. I think I know why. I think it's stupid, but I think I know why. I think being assertive, it kind of displays this it kind of gives this vibe like you can't be moved, right? So when you come from an aggressive place, right? Aggression is emotion, right? Assertiveness is not emotion. It's just cold hard truth. This is what it is. I don't care what you say. Right. So, but if I'm coming at you with aggression, first of all, I mean, that's going to set somebody off regardless. But aggression is emotion, and it provokes or evokes other emotions from the other person that you're being aggressive towards. So that's naturally going to be like this. There are, I think, assertiveness often, at least when it comes from a man to a woman, from what I've seen, assertiveness often makes a woman shut down. And I mean, like I said, I don't think it's right. I think it, y'all should kind of learn to just take what we're saying and just let it be. It doesn't have to be that deep. Right. But it is what it is. I understand that we're working with, like I said, y'all are known to be the emotional beings. And so I do respect that. I understand that. And so I try my best to relay
Yeah.
messages, not too assertive, but I've been told my voice, I guess, sometimes
Yes.
carries and it comes off kind of that way. I can't help it. It's hard.
It's the same for me though. I've been told that I sound so aggressive and dominant. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the softest person.
Man, I wouldn't say I'm the softest person, but I'm not.
You know, I'm not the soft. But I'm like, but even so, again, assertiveness, I think I am a soft person, you know. But I say that to say, um, the I forgot what I was about to say actually. I did. It just because again, so many thoughts be coming, and it was off of what you said. We're gonna wrap it up, but no, I'm gonna remember this last thought. You said assertiveness when it comes to a woman. Oh, boom! I knew it was gonna come back. It always do. It always do. Because it's to y'all. It's to y'all. I'm wondering because I feel what Evan is saying on how assertive it makes the woman shut down. But at the end of the day, how do y'all want the man to talk to y'all? Like that was my thought as Evan was saying it. Like assertiveness, making sure there. Do y'all want to be coddled? Like do y'all mean like?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Like I don't know what.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeah. I have experienced enough to know it's a
Women don't know what they want.
exactly. We just have to get lucky as a man, like, and sometimes what we say is gonna work, and other times it's not. You know, like I've had a time where I couldn't have communicated any better, and like I thought about I literally could not have communicated. Well, I couldn't have validated the girl any better. Like, and it still wasn't enough.
Right.
So I've learned, there's luck of the draw, and it's a never ending journey in terms of trying to learn how to communicate effectively with somebody you're dating, and it is what it is. It's a choice. It's why I think a lot more people are single these days. Honestly, is that I saw there's a comedian I think that I like, Tony Baker. He was talking about it. He was just talking about like how he's perfectly fine being alone and why. And it's the expectation, essentially. It's the pressures of being with somebody, having to answer to somebody and all that. A lot of people just don't want to. It's much easier to not have to answer to anybody. Like, I'll be honest, like, I love being committed to somebody, but obviously toward the end of every relationship, there's some disdain, and it's just discomfort. It's not a happy situation toward the end, right?
Right.
So every time the relationship ends, I find myself being like, whew, thank God I don't gotta answer to nobody no more. Right. So that's the thing. And it don't even be about like, because I don't mind answering to somebody.
Okay.
I feel like when I choose to be in a relationship, I'm choosing to have to answer to somebody. Right. And like I said, that's one of those things that change from the time that you're single to the time that you're in a relationship. If you don't want to answer to nobody, don't get in a relationship. But if you're gonna get in a relationship, you better be prepared to answer some questions. Right.
And y'all, hold on, Evan, because on that note, that is going to go into our next episode. Because my question is like, what is really answering to anybody? So y'all, hold on. Me and Evan, we gonna toast out and see y'all right back. Okay.